Good morning and welcome to Perspectives. I just want to also share my thoughts about what is going on in our country called Nigeria. We forget so easily. We forget so easily. But we need to share our perspectives because it looks like there's a diet of men in Nigeria. Everybody is keeping quiet and evil is growing by the day. There is nobody in Nigeria, even members of APC, even Buhari himself, after his inglorious years, lackluster 8 years, and, battering of our economy and destruction and looting of everywhere. Who doesn't know that the man who calls himself Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not win the election that was conducted on the 25th of February, that he came a distant third, that he bought the presidency? Who doesn't know that fact? Mahmoud knows that fact. Buhari knows that fact. The judges in the appeal court know the facts of the matter. But will they have the strength, the character? Will they have the discipline to be able to translate the facts they have into judgment? Not just judgment, but into justice for the people. I know we are just fractured along ethnic lines, and Buhari more like incentivized it, I said it when he won the first election in, I think, 2005 or thereabout. I said, look, this man is a tribal bigot. He's just coming there to do nothing but to northernize the presidency. And to, not only that, push his religion down to the south. And he's done it for 8 years. With all the killings, with all the maimings, with all the empowerment of cow sellers and stuff like that, he's done his bit and he's destroyed virtually everything. And now he agreed with Mahmoud in the dead of night when Nigerians were sleeping to give over the presidency to a man who came an abysmal third by rigging the system. Who doesn't know? I know some people will come after me. I don't give a hoot. Some of the tribal lords and people who will benefit from the so-called government that is no government. It is still illegitimate, begging for legitimacy. A government that was not empowered by the people, that was bought in the thick of nights and imposed upon the people. That Nigeria is now being led by a man so tainted that there's nothing clean about him. His name, where he was born, the state he belongs to, the schools he attended, the drug cases, the certificates he forged, the double citizenship, the cocaine and heroin connections. Just name it. Name it. A man who will brazenly tell us that he didn't go to primary school, he didn't go to secondary school, but he went to the university. I mean, what's really going on in this country? That's why we're suffering. Nigeria has no business being a poor country, only that criminals have been leading us for years. The matter is now in court, and we're looking forward to the judges. They know the facts even before the case started. And they are getting the facts. But will they be courageous enough to say, for 220-something million people, let me do the right thing? Not just give one useless judgment, but give judgment that will translate to justice for the people. One useless judge many years ago, when James Ibori, disgraced former governor of, I think it's Edo State, Delta State or so, 110 count charges in Abuja. One useless judge took money and quashed everything. The same man would end up in prison in London for how many years? About 13 years or thereabout. The Nigerian judiciary, we're looking up to you to redeem yourself, because politicians have you in their pockets. We know that they pay your bills and determine how far you rise in the system and stuff like that. And that even after swearing an oath to do justice, you still do judgment without justice. So in September this year, the man who calls himself Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come to New York to represent Nigeria and give a speech to the world where everybody knows that he's completely compromised. Do you know the problem with having a tainted president, somebody who is tainted to become your president? All these foreign nations have information about him that he wouldn't want to be disclosed. And they will count on that piece of information or pieces of information to negotiate anything away. So he comes to America. America wants a base in Nigeria. And he says, no, you can't have a base in Nigeria. And they say, okay, no problem. Let's have a discussion between you and the president. He comes in, they drop a dossier to say, look, if you do not agree to what we have said, we will release this information to the people of Nigeria. And he says, okay, he signs it. That's why it's good to have somebody who is clean to be your president. This one is not our president. No matter how long they force it down our throats, this man is not the president of Nigeria. He is an impostor who was imposed on Nigeria. He will be resisted by everybody because he doesn't represent us. Because he didn't get the mandate. And he knows he's an impostor. That is a usurper. He came in the dead of night. It's not about tribalism. This is about the facts. And it is because of men like this who can buy up the system that Nigeria is what it is today. There is nothing he can do to redeem the battered image. There's nothing he can do. All this idea, Tinubu has done this, Tinubu has done, they mean nothing. An illegitimate president is an illegitimate president. I find it difficult to call him president. He is not president. He's not my president, certainly, because he did not win an election. We know the facts. He is even, you can liken him to Buhari. He's becoming a tribal bigot. Look at what he's doing in Lagos. Lagos, after pillaging Lagos, this is what he's doing in Lagos. Look at what they're doing right now. And then after arming touts to go and kill and maim and destroy people, he will come to the screen, written script, and talk about unity. Who are you deceiving? Who are you deceiving? Do we still have men in Nigeria? Or is all the Obas, all the traditional rulers, all the Ezes, all the whatever, you've been completely compromised. None has conscience again to be able to speak out, to say, this thing that is happening is not good. This is what has been keeping us down for years. Allowing a few criminals who should be in jail to rule over people who are decent. Even Wole Soyinka has gone dumb because, I mean, this is his benefactor, so he's gone dumb. He can't come out to criticize him to say, man, you stole the election. Return the mandate. That's what he would have said. That's what he did during the Biafran Civil War. He was able to speak to Nigeria to say what you're doing is evil. How can the old man now, from being a patriot, from being pan-Nigerian, turn into a tribal bigot? A lot of things are happening in Nigeria that shouldn't happen. We have no business toying with poverty. The problem is just that we have the wrong men. We have criminals ruling over Nigeria. And every other person is keeping quiet, just believing that something will happen from heaven. People who are supposed to speak out cannot speak out because they are scared. People have been completely compromised because of poverty and handouts. They can't speak out to say, you did not win. Yeah, it's in the lockout, we know. We know, even before it was taken to the tribunal, everybody in Nigeria knew exactly what transpired during the elections, that this criminal did not win an election. And people are supporting him because, oh, he's from my tribe. Away with tribes. If a good man comes to a position, irrespective of where he comes from, everybody will know. There are decent people from the north. People like Colonel Abubakar Omar, people like Balarabe Musa, so many other decent people who are completely detribalized. Not people like Buhari, a tribal bigot and a religious bigot, who just came to the scene and destroyed the country and he has walked away. And gave us 8 lackluster years, pillaged the country, destroyed the country economically and otherwise, and walked away. And handed us over to a convicted drug lord who will now come to the United Nations and stand as... This is like Escobar becoming the president of Nigeria. And everybody is keeping quiet. Will the judges have the courage to say, if I perish, I perish? Let's do justice to 220 million Nigerians, to call a spade, and thereafter, a good government will develop institutions that will make sure that this kind of nonsense doesn't happen again. For example, establish an inquiry into what transpired. Find out exactly who played what role in declaring this criminal president. And make sure that you put in place stuff that will make sure that this never happens again. They should be able to respect the position of Nigerians. What the electorate says should be respected, not men who will, in the dead of night, compromise what the electorate have said, simply because they think they have the power to do it in a banana democracy. God delivered us during Abacha. He will save us from Tinubu and his men.